Greetings, humans. Bear here, 29-year veteran of the woods. But true heroes are our veterans from the greatest generations. A few weeks back, Bear was reading a script he wrote about the Japanese internment and the group of men who went off to war fighting for a country that had interned them. This is their story, the most decorated unit in U.S. Army history. Thank you for watching, and Bear hopes that you enjoy.
When the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor, our west coast became a potential combat zone. Living in that zone were more than 100,000 persons of Japanese ancestry, 2/3 of them American citizens, 1/3 aliens. We knew that some among them were potentially dangerous, but no one knew what would happen among this concentrated population if Japanese forces should try to invade our shores. Military authorities therefore determined that all of them, citizens and aliens alike, would have to move. This picture tells how the mass migration was accomplished.
And we are in rural Wyoming. A train is stopped at a dusty station. A windswept road leads towards a receiving area. Beyond, barbed wire as far as the horizon. Japanese families, both young and old, exit the cars. Kenji helps his mother with her suitcase. Heart Mountain Relocation Center. This is in Wyoming, August 11th, 1942 at 4:30 p.m. Kenji takes his mother's bag, loading himself down. Other families struggle with their own loads, what they could bring or had on their backs at the time of internment. Basically, they came in and said, "Hey, family, you need to go. You've got a couple hours or maybe a day. Gather up all your stuff, everything that you can carry, and heading on out." So that's what happened. This is why they're loaded down with bags. Anyways. Ahead, a group of War Relocation Authority officers, 40s, not fit for modern combat, greet the new arrivals. WRA Officer number 2 takes the bags from Kenji. At first, Kenji is relieved to be free of the weight, but then the man opens the bag and searches through it. WRA Officer number 1. Looking for any contraband. Have any radios, photographic equipment, printing tools, or mimeographs? Father shakes his head. Any alcohol, drugs, or firearms? What kind of question is that? Asks Kenji. WRA Officer number 2. They're clear, packing light. Officer number 1. Cooking utensils, pots, pans. You can find them at your mess hall. Barracks are set up in a row. Each mess hall sits in the middle. Some of them might be under construction. To Father. What's the last name, sir? Father. Yoshito, Maso, and Suro. Officer number 1 looking at his notebook. Yom. While his partner searches through foreign names, Officer number 2 shows off the camp's points of interest. State-of-art boiler room. You can see that big red chimney. Points up the hill. Next to it is the hospital. To Mother and Kame. Looking for nurses. No experience. Talk to Dr. Irwin. Officer number 1. Here we go. Yoshito, 22C6. To Father. Right this way, sir. The WRA officer leads Kenji and family to the front gate. A sign proclaims, Heart Mountain Relocation Center, U.S. government property. No entry without escort. The WRA officers stop to hand out pins to the Yoshito family, each numbered with their names on them. WRA officer number 1. From the gate, you'll want to take Avenue F down to 2nd Street. Only barracks completed so far on Block 22 is Barracks C. Easy enough to find. 6 means you'll be in the back, nice and cozy. Kame. With 5 other families? WRA Officer number 1. Coal train comes every 3rd Thursday. It may be warm now, but winter will cut you to the bone. To the guard. Section 22, they're ready to go. The guard opens up the front gate. The Yoshito family enters the relocation center and begins the long walk up a dusty hill with the other families. The mountain that gives its name, Heart Mountain, stands in the distance, rising to a cliff. Heart Mountain forms a monolith protruding into the sky. Interior, barracks, later. And I call them barracks because they actually were barracks. So if you think kind of the kind of 1940s style barracks, they look just like that. The Yoshito family enters their new home. At 20 by 20 feet, the modest interior made from new pine. Any gaps to the elements are covered over with a thin sheet of tar paper. Several cots are laid against the far wall. A small coal stove sits in the corner. A narrow window peeks outside. Kame asks, "Where's the kitchen?" Kenji asks, "Where's the bathroom?" Father, "We will make do," and speaks to Kenji. "Go, get scraps of wood to burn." Kenji follows father's command and exits. Exterior Heart Mountain Relocation Center. Moments later, Kenji walks the dusty road in front of his new home and scans the endless horizon. Construction as far as he can see. Barracks, fences, and more fences. In stark contrast, Heart Mountain hangs over the internment camp like a tourist postcard. Bump! Kenji knocks into Mitz Koshima, 18, a nervous little rascal, to the ground. Mitz, "Hey! Kenji, you ran into me. Watch where you're going." Toshi Truth Yamagoto, an intelligent kid, helps Mitz back to his feet. "Where are I going?" "To find Mr. Emmit. You see him?" Kenji shakes his head. "Oh, it's both 6 bits. What for?" "Mitz, for dice, back on the train." They were playing craps along the train there. So, anyways, Mitz spots Emmit. "There's that two-timing rascal." Mitz and Truth lead Kenji down Avenue F. More and more families are moving in, filling the road with their only possessions in the world. The three weave their way through the chaos. Mitz yells to Frank Sashi Emmit, 26. His wire-like frame matches his glasses, but he stands with authority. Mr. Emmit, "Friends, I was looking for Akamoto-san myself. We were separated," and Mitz grabs a hold of Mr. Emery and shakes him. "You better pay us, Buster, or all..." Screams! Families scatter, leaving luggage behind. Several guards fill the yard. Aho Suzuki, 19, a punk, leads the remaining crowd in a chant. "Let us go! Let us go! Let us go!" Bang! A guard nervously fires into the air. Warden Rayburn, off-screen. "That's enough!" Warden Rayburn, 54, is a tall man with wide boots, and he uses those boots to walk over and kick the offending guard. Warden Rayburn continued to the guards. "This isn't the Wild West. Secure those firearms. Listen to me, people. Listen up. We cannot abide by any civil disruptions. This crowd needs to disperse. Post haste. That means immediately. Get back to your barracks. Those who remain will be detained." Kenji asks, "Detained? We're already detained." Kenji steps forward, but a WRA guard mistakes this for an attack and tosses Kenji into the dirt. Kenji struggles, but the guard makes sure he doesn't get away. The other guards get nervous and raise their rifles. Warden Rayburn, "Hang on now, just 1 minute. This is a civil institution, and we will remain civil." Kiyoshi Akamoto, 52, a committee of 1, steps up and speaks to the rapt crowd. His voice fills the air with conviction. "Then we demand dignity and respect. We are American citizens. We have every right to take issue with our condition. Barbed wire and guard tower? Who does that to a family?" Warden Rayburn, "This would have been explained tomorrow, but I'll do it here. The WRA is entrusting each block with its own representation and captains. Internees will therefore be in charge of the degenerates, gamblers, and miscreants in this camp. Furthermore, these slots will be limited to Nisei and no Issei." Mr. Akamoto objects. "Because Nisei are more trustworthy as Americans. Now settle in for the night, and we'll figure out the details in the morning. You have my word." Warden Rayburn leads his men back towards the administrative building and passes Kenji along the way. "Let the smartass go." Kenji is released. Murmurs among the crowd. Almost leave. Those that remain talk amongst themselves. Mitz, "Good thing he no put up a fight, right, Truth?" Kenji, "Truth? The only crap stealer we can agree on." Truth, "Train have everyone from Pomona to Puyallup. What camp you from, pal?" Kenji, "Santa Anita." Mitz, "Where the horses race?" "Yeah, my family traded one stable for another." Mr. Emery and Mr. Akamoto join the young men. Mr. Okamoto. Many people are fine to go through life. Keep their head low. Don't start no trouble. But this is not one of those times. When a government does a wrong, you have a right to protest, to say this is unjust, organize, and take back your lives. Without your help, we've no voice. So join us and lift your head high. Enough of the talk. Where's my payment? Mr. Emmett. Ah, yes, my debt will be paid. But Okamoto-san is right. We must organize. We need men like you to hold their head high, to show the way. Most of these families are farmers. Washington, Oregon, California. The WRA needs us more than we need them. Kenji asked, how can you be so certain? Aho, because they need us to tend to the fields while Jack and Johnny are off fighting. As they talk, Kame shows up. Runs up. Kame, we heard a shot. What's happening? You're supposed to get firewood. Kenji, it's okay. Everyone's okay. Truth. You know, this place not so bad. Where I lived, not many Japanese. Here, beautiful girls just run up. Kenji, hey, you know nothing about her. Truth, well, I sure like to. Please, will you come by tomorrow? We all have much to discuss. And kid, come by early. Somebody has to show you how to fight. Why's that? Mr. Emmy, look around. We need a block captain. Mr. Emmy walks away with Mr. Okamoto, talking politics. Kame dragged Kenji away from the other troublemakers. As they head towards their new home, the sun sets on Heart Mountain, ironic picture of the Wild West.